as parents, being like parenting your kids, like that's a big deal. Like you need to have that for them. There's things that go. So if you have the majority, it doesn't matter like what majority, like 60, 70% of where you're living for you, you're still living your best life and you're still teaching your kids and leading by example around you that you matter. You get to be a priority, but it stops you from being like, I don't give a fuck about you. I don't give a fuck about, because how are you going to connect with anybody if it just doesn't matter? Now, that doesn't mean that if you have something that you are strong and you're passionate and that you know this is your path and this person knows that this is not what works for them, that you're supposed to let that go for them. But I'm talking about like your daily choices, like having empathy for other people it's kind of what makes you a human. So I think that's a good balance. And I think there are times you're like 80, 90%. And you can like, ooh, sometimes you have to be though. And I think those swings come from the times you're 30%. Because I like feel the same. That there's so much that I feel I don't matter in it. And then when I decide that it's like, whoa, then it becomes all about me. Because I need to breathe. It's like when you're struggling underwater and you're just like going to do anything you can to pop your head up just to take that one breath. And so I think it's just that kind of balance. And so you do these extreme where you don't give a fuck about anybody else because you need to breathe for a minute. And then it's like, whew, and then the shame hits. So you start coming down and then that brings you back down to the 30, 20, 10, none percent. So how do you find the balance in that? So you are making yourself your priority, but still showing, like still having empathy for other people and knowing that your actions affect other people.
Yes, your actions do affect other people, and having empathy for people. Like there's a part of me that really wants to say you can be 100% about yourself all of the time and still be a good person and still have empathy for other people. And still acknowledge that your choices and actions affect other people, and that's okay.
Show me somebody that is like that, then.
Well, I said that there's part of me that wants to believe that.
Okay.
Whether or not that's true or not, I don't really know if I believe that.
I don't know that it's not true.
Right?
I just haven't seen it.
Because I always, when we do these little thought experiments about this kind of stuff, I always base my actions and decisions off of what I would want for our kids.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. So I like the idea that all of our kids can live 100% for themselves, and they're not basing any of their choices or actions off of how it's going to affect other people.
What about when they become parents?
That's the caveat, right? At some point you become a parent and your life changes drastically.
Some people.
And then at that point, however, if you're a parent, I think you can still be not just a good parent, but I think you can still be a really good parent and really be there for your kids and be empathetic and be understanding and be loving and nurturing and all those different things and still live your life for yourself.
100%?
I think so. And I think that is a huge lesson that you can then impart upon that child as well. I don't know how it could work.
Yeah, I don't see that.
But I think it can.
I think that the model that parents do and that is more like they disappear. Mm-hmm. Like so many times, like every bit of your identity just disappears and all you are is mom. Yeah. Or maybe all you are is dad. I don't know. But I can speak for like what I've experienced. And I think I thought that was the way to do it. And I thought that was the only way to do it. You have to absolutely suffer and live, and nothing is about you anymore. And it is 100% about your kids. And, think about, people having kids young, their life ends at 20, 25, or even 30, whenever it is. But I thought that was healthy.
Yeah.
I thought that was what being a good person, being a good parent was. Now I realize
so different, right?
It's not only not healthy, it's harmful. Because you're teaching your children to do that same thing, that very same thing. So their life is going to stop. And so there's that balance that I'm talking about. Mm-hmm. It can't be all over here, but I think it can't be all over here. I don't think it's the 100%. I don't know. But that I cannot see.
Well, I think
how you can live 100% for yourself and not be a complete narcissist.
See, I think the difference between the way that you're seeing it and the way you're thinking about it as opposed to the way that I am is that I think oftentimes, at least in my mind, the way that it is it's more about a mindset rather than just actual things that they're doing. So, like, I'm going to paint some scenarios for you, okay? You're a parent, and so you care for your kids and you take care of your kids and you do things for your kids and you make your kids a priority in your life, but they're not the only priority in your life.
Yes.
And you have a slew of other things that are still important to you and specific to you that you make a priority, which means sometimes you're choosing yourself over your kids and you're making your things a priority over them because you're teaching them that skill set. Sometimes you
but you're saying sometimes, not 100% of the time.
But what I'm saying is the 100% of the time is the mindset. The 100% of the time is almost like the energy with which you move through life. It's not just every single time I do exactly what I want to do and you don't get to do what you want to do.
Okay.